Hi there. Welcome to Oakland Side 510. I'm Tasneem Raja, editor-in-chief of the Oakland Side, Oakland's independent, nonprofit newsroom. Later in this episode, I'm going to briefly catch you up on Oakland's successful bond sale, what this means for Oakland's huge budget challenges, big fixes to Oakland's notoriously frustrating permitting process, and school budget cuts. Plus, I'll tell you about holiday markets and events happening around town this week. But first, the Nosh Awards are in. Tovin Lepan, our food editor, is going to tell you who won Best Restaurant, Best Bar, Best Coffee Shop, and much more in this year's Best of the Best in the East Bay food scene. Okay, before we get to any of that, heads up, our most important fundraising drive of the year is happening right now. Our newsroom's reporting is free for everyone in Oakland because residents like you pitch in to make sure Oakland has the high quality coverage our beautiful city deserves. Our year-end fundraising drive is on until December 31st. I hope that you will be part of it. Link is in the show notes. All right, time for our main story. All right, time for our main story. Tovin Lepan is back. He is the editor of Nosh, our food section. Tovin, this is always one of my favorite times of the year.
Yeah, it's the Nosh Awards.
Yes.
This is our annual celebration of the best restaurants, bars, bakeries, and cafes across the East Bay.
Yep.
We just wrapped up announcing all the winners.
All right, so walk us through how it works. How do you pick these winners?
Yeah, it's a two-part process. First, we had a 2-week nomination period in early November where readers could nominate their favorites in 10 categories. We had record numbers of nominations this year for the second year in a row.
Oh, great.
Then we compiled those nominations and opened up voting for about 2.5 weeks, closing right before Thanksgiving. So we chose the best in 10 categories: new restaurant, restaurant overall, restaurant for special occasions, bakery, coffee shop, breakfast, new bar, bar overall, beer garden or tap room, and wine bar. So if you disagree with this year's results, as former President Obama used to say, don't boo, vote.
Okay. Before we get to the list, Tovin, what stood out to you about this year's winners?
First of all, Oakland absolutely swept these awards.
Nice.
Nosh covers Oakland, Berkeley, and Richmond, and also ventures out into the broader East Bay, but almost every single winner is in Oakland.
All right.
Chez Panisse in Berkeley won Best Restaurant for Special Occasions, but otherwise, it's all Oakland.
Okay, of course I love that, but I am a bit biased. Okay, Tovin, I'm going to let you run through the winners. I know each one of these has a really great story. Can you start with the big one? Best restaurant overall.
Yeah, that went to Bombera in the Diamond. Chef and owner Dominica Rice Cisneros opened it in a refurbished fire station back in 2021. She's doing creative Mexican cuisine that incorporates California ingredients.
Yeah, what do you think it is that makes Bombera stand out year after year?
Voters kept mentioning the consistency, freshly made dishes, creative cocktails, impeccable service. Mm-hmm. One person who voted for Bombera commented that they traveled all the way from London just for the salad.
Okay.
But beyond the food, people talked about the culture there. Rice Cisneros treats her workers with respect and dignity, and voters noticed.
That's great to hear. Okay, best new restaurant.
Yeah, Lucuma, the modern Peruvian restaurant in downtown Oakland. This place is visually stunning.
It is.
There's a handmade straw octopus hanging above the bar, a quipu suspended like a jellyfish, blue Kit Kat tiles. It looks like an underwater dreamscape. Co-owners Garrett Morris and Renzo Roca opened it on July 25th. Roca is Peruvian, but it's actually Morris, who's not Peruvian, who does the cooking. He learned from Roca's family. They're doing traditional dishes like ceviche and lomo saltado, but also showcasing lesser-known Peruvian cuisine. Their anticuchos de corazon, grilled beef hearts with pave potatoes, have been a hit.
Yes, I have been telling people left and right to check out Lucuma. I have been there a couple times. That ceviche is unforgettable. Okay, moving on. Tovin, what did Nosh voters have to say about breakfast?
So best breakfast goes to Sequoia Diner in the Laurel. This was actually the closest race of all 10 categories. The top 4 were separated by fewer than 60 votes.
Oh, wow.
Sequoia opened in 2015 and has built this incredibly loyal following. They're known for their biscuits and sticky buns. Voters couldn't contain themselves. And I myself love a good biscuit. People literally just typed "the biscuits" with exclamation points. They also do inventive dishes like red flannel hash with beets, garnet yams, and poached eggs.
I love that voters couldn't even speak in full sentences about those biscuits.
Right? The enthusiasm was amazing. And I get it. It's a true neighborhood spot. People do crosswords at the bar. Families squeeze into booths on the weekend. It's exactly what a diner should be.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the first places that my daughter really learned to enjoy going to as a little kid. They do it right. All right, Tovin, tell us who won Best Bakery.
Bake Some on Grand Avenue near Lake Merritt. Owner Joyce Tang started as a pandemic pop-up in 2020 doing pastry boxes, then opened the brick and mortar in September 2021. The name Some refers to the Cantonese word for heart and also their style of blending flavors together. They're doing Asian fusion pastries with a constantly rotating menu. Their croisubi, a croissant spam musubi mashup, was named one of the best dishes in the country by the New York Times in 2024. Voters talked about how creative and beautiful the pastries are and how they keep coming back because there's always something new.
As a gluten-free person, not by choice, I will say the croisubi is the thing I would, if I could, that's what I would go for. Okay, moving on. Best coffee shop.
Yeah, Mother Tongue Cafe and Bar. Owner Jen Apodaca has been roasting coffee since 2005 and really knows her craft. She's won multiple roasting championships and is a certified Q grader.
Wait, what's a Q grader?
A Q grader is someone who goes through a really rigorous testing process and is graded on their ability to taste coffees and identify them, sort of like a sommelier.
Ah, cool.
The cafe opened in 2023 and has this great outdoor patio. But here's what's interesting. They also have a full bar. So voters praised the coffee, but also the Bloody Marys and espresso martinis. It's a cafe that transforms into a bar as the day goes on.
You know, I have always thought that more bars and cafes should do that. Okay, speaking of cocktails, what came in as best bar overall?
Yeah, Tallboy and Temescal.
No surprise.
Yeah, they won best new bar last year. And this martini-focused cocktail bar opened in May 2024 and immediately became Oakland's gathering place. Owner Den Stevens had to hire extra staff, including door people, because the crowds were so intense.
Yes, I can attest.
Nosh Awards voters mentioned the incredible food, exceptional martinis, and always great atmosphere. The prices are reasonable, the vibes are welcoming, and they serve vegan hot dogs and other bites from Lion Dance Cafe. One wrote that Tallboy is the most fun concept I have ever experienced in a bar.
Yes, and Lion Dance Cafe lives on. Okay, hit us with best new bar.
13 Orphans. Above Baba's house in downtown Oakland. This is a speakeasy-style mahjong lounge that opened in May. Owners Jen Louie, Aman Garcia, and Alan Chen created this community space where people can play mahjong, and they offer coaching for beginners.
Cool.
The word that came up over and over in the voters' comments was community. People said it's more than a bar. It's a community hub, almost like a second family.
Wow.
They're serving tea-based cocktails with medicinal herbs and Filipino and Chinese-inspired dim sum. The whole concept is unique.
What about that name, 13 Orphans? What does that mean?
Yeah, in Mahjong, 13 Orphans is this really powerful, high-scoring hand that breaks the normal rules of the game. The owners wanted a name that reflected something special and rule-breaking.
Oh, that's really cool. I'm going to check that place out. Okay, best beer garden.
Yeah, this is one of the places I go to with my family. Ghost Town Brewing's Laurel location. This place has all the skeleton and death metal imagery, beers named Speed of Death and Torture Garden. But beneath that aesthetic, it's this crowd-pleasing spot with award-winning beer and an inclusive menu. This year at the World Beer Cup in May, Ghost Town was one of just 2 breweries to win 5 medals, 4 of which were gold.
Wow.
But voters praised the food as much as the beer. Big salads, veggie bowls, fish and chips, burgers. It's dog-friendly, family-friendly, and affordable. One voter said the fish and chips are just absolutely bonkers.
Oh, that's great. Okay, finally, best wine bar.
La Lulu on Piedmont Avenue. This is a newcomer. It opened in May 2025, but it crushed the competition. Owner Lou Barraud moved from Paris to the Bay Area and wanted to recreate French-style wine bars. The wine selection is carefully curated. The outdoor patio has those Parisian chairs, and they do Francophone nights. But voters couldn't stop talking about the bathroom.
Yeah, so what is up with the bathroom there?
Yeah, the bathroom is completely covered in disco ball material with disco balls hanging from the ceiling and a neon sign that says, "You look good," above the mirror. Multiple voters specifically mentioned the bathroom in their comments.
Okay, that's an achievement. I love that.
Yeah, one voter wrote, Their bathroom is a treasure, their wine is delicious and reasonably priced, and their outdoor patio is delightful. The bathroom was right up there with the wine.
Okay, look, go Oakland, but the special occasions category did go to Berkeley, you said, right?
Yeah, Chez Panisse in Berkeley won for the second year in a row. It's in its 54th year now, and voters cited the consistent high standards, the influential status, and the fet-worthy food.
You know, I'm happy to say I've been to a lot of places on this list, and this might surprise you, Tovin, I've actually never been to Chez Panisse.
Well, you should try. Everybody should try Chez Panisse once, I think. And, you know, Bay Area people in their lifetime. It is a seminal restaurant in the food landscape of the Bay Area, really the country.
All right. Well, if you'll pay for it, I'm happy to go. Okay. Oakland really cleaned up in the Nosh Awards this year. This is clearly just such a snapshot of where Oakland's food scene is right now. So what should we be taking away from these awards?
Yeah, it's super exciting. First, a couple of things. First, Oakland restaurants are thriving creatively, from Peruvian cuisine to tea cocktails to Asian fusion pastries.
Yes.
Second, community matters.
Right.
The winners that stood out weren't just serving great food and drinks. They were creating spaces where people felt welcome and connected. 13 Orphans, Ghost Town, Tallboy. Voters talked about the sense of belonging as much as the quality of what they were eating and drinking.
Yeah, that comes through. Okay, where can people see the full list of winners and read more about each of these places?
Just go to oaklandside.org and search for Nosh Awards. We announced one winner per day from December 1st through December 12th, so there's a full story on each winner with details, voter comments, and photos. And if you haven't signed up for the Nosh newsletter yet, you should. We send it out twice a week with all the latest food news.
All right, congratulations to all the winners, and thank you, Tovin.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, let's get into some other recent reporting from our newsroom. There's more in the full stories, which we will link to in the show notes, and you can always find at oaklandside.org. First up, some really good, really big financial news from Jose Fermoso. Oakland is getting new money to pay for paving projects that have been on hold, upgrades to Liberation Park in East Oakland, libraries, senior centers, stormwater repair, street safety improvements like speed bumps on our city's high injury networks, even improvements to the Oakland Ice Center and the Oakland Tool Lending Library in Temescal. How is all of this possible? Let's talk about bond sales. Okay, if you're not familiar with bond sales, they're how cities raise money for major infrastructure projects. Basically, investors loan money to the city pays them back with interest over time. Oakland voters passed Measure U 3 years ago, allowing Oakland to borrow up to $850 million for affordable housing and public works, the kind of stuff we were just talking about. But the city hadn't done it until now, over concerns about the city's financial health. But then, last week, Oakland sold $334 million in bonds. The sale happened remarkably fast. All the bonds sold in less than a week. This sale marks a financial turning point for Oakland. This is showing that investors are getting confident in Oakland again. Next up, our housing reporter, Natalie Ornstein, has been investigating Oakland's notoriously difficult permitting process. And she's reporting on some major new reforms. Okay, so for years, getting a building permit in Oakland was a nightmare. Homeowners and developers faced month-long delays, unanswered emails, contradictory requirements, and permit counters that were barely open. Now, the city is trying to fix that mess. The permit center now has 26 employees helping customers, and it's open Monday through Thursday mornings for drop-ins, with afternoon appointments available every weekday. Even bigger changes, most residential projects with up to 30 units can now get approved over the counter in 2 months instead of 10. The city is also eliminating worksheets that added 52 days to every permit application. The reforms are driven by Robin Abad, Oakland's first permit ombuds, who's been working since 2023 to streamline the process. Mayor Barbara Lee said recently, the city should be a partner, not a roadblock. In school news, Ashley McBride reports that Oakland Unified is facing $100 million in budget cuts. And this time, school sites won't be exempt. In past years, the district tried to protect schools by focusing cuts on the district's central office. That's operations, that's administration. But this time around, that approach would save only $21 million, nowhere near the $100 million that's needed. We have published a 2-part guide breaking down where schools will feel the proposed cuts. It could be pretty bad, up to 10% across the board. Check it out on our website, and we'll link to it in the show notes. Okay, if you're looking for things to do this week and this holiday season, we've got you covered. Sunday is the first night of Hanukkah, and for the 20th year, representatives of Oakland's Jewish community will light a 15-foot menorah at Lake Merritt. That celebration includes a fire performance, live music, latkes, matzo ball soup, and hot drinks. That's Sunday at 4:30 p.m. on Lake Merritt Boulevard near 12th Street. Then on Saturday, the Oakland Gay Men's Chorus wraps up Make the Yuletide Gay, December 13th at the Valley Center for the Arts. And the Free Key Choir performs Incantation through Saturday at First Congregational Church on Harrison Street. Finally, if you're still working on your holiday shopping, we've also got a guide to 24 Oakland holiday markets. They include the Hella Plants Holiday Market on Saturday the 13th. On Sunday the 14th, you can check out Nito's Backyard Bazaar or the Oakland Coffee Holiday Market at the Rotunda Building downtown with 12 local coffee companies. Then Tuesday the 16th, Art House Works is hosting a holiday market with vendors, complimentary food and drinks, a DJ, gingerbread house decorating, and ugly Christmas sweater contests. You can find the full guide with all the holiday markets at oaklandside.org, and yeah, we will link to it in the show notes. All right, that's this week's episode of Oaklandside 510. You can find all the stories we talked about today at oaklandside.org. Do sign up for our daily newsletter. That's the best way to keep up with Oakland news every day. If you haven't already, subscribe to the podcast, rate it, share it with your Oakland friends and neighbors. The more people listening and loving it, the more we're going to keep it going. This episode was produced by Kiana Mogadam, edited by Esther Kaplan and Tovin Lapan, and hosted by me, Oaklandside Editor-in-Chief, Tasneem Raja. On behalf of our entire newsroom, thank you for showing up for Oakland. We'll see you next week.